What's going on, guys? Today we are going to make an amazing beef stroganoff that me and my family make all the time. We love it. And I got this video and this idea from, I think his name is Pressure Luck. He did a great job and I like it. I changed it up a little bit, but it was also all based off of his recommendations. So everything we need. We have the beef stew. I think it's called Chuck beef stew. They're already cubed up. They're ready to go. So you'll need that. Guys, before I show you all these ingredients, make sure you check in the bottom because it's going to show you every ingredient I use. I think I forgot a couple from the ones I'm about to show you. So just look in the description. You'll see everything that I used with the directions. An onion, egg noodles. I use I think this is 5 ounces. Yeah, 5 ounces of the Chive onion spread. Actually, this is 7.5 ounces. And then sour cream, I use the light one, but you can use the regular one. That's 8 ounces. 2 packs of your bella mushrooms, which is 8 ounces. I use garlic squeeze, salt and pepper, your gray poupon, however you say that, cornstarch, and cooking wine. So I'm doing this with one hand again, so I'll have to cut the video from time to time, but I'm getting my water boiling for my noodles, get that started, because that almost takes the longest. So from here, we're gonna dice up our onion. Okay, so from here, we need to get the instapot plugged in and get it heating up a little bit. So we're gonna plug this in and then come down to our control panel and hit saute. And then I'm gonna grab some olive oil, and we could sit here and say how much to measure, but I don't ever measure it and it turns out fine. Just add a good amount in there like that for some sort of reference. And then I'm also gonna add some butter. So we're putting quite a bit of mushrooms in here. So I'm just gonna add I'll just show you how much. So I got it over here kind of in the corner here. I don't know, a good amount, and I'm struggling here. I'm gonna have to use my hands to get this in. So there we go. Just drop it in there. And you could probably have used that whole stick if you want, because there's a lot. So then we're just gonna wait till this kind of starts sizzling and bubbling up. And while we wait, I'm also gonna get my Chuck stew meat seasoned up with salt and pepper. You could do it to your liking. So I'm gonna again, I don't measure this stuff, I just go by eye. But my pepper shaker doesn't really let out a bunch at once, so. Then mix it up and season it a little bit more. And again, once this starts getting bubbly, I'll show you what it looks like before I do, and then we'll toss this in there. Okay, so here we go. It's starting to bubble a little bit. Just gonna dump all our stew meat in here. And we're not gonna cook this meat all the way. We're just gonna kind of get it browned up. Then we'll take it out and we'll put the mushrooms in there. So just gonna stir it around, and I'll show you what it looks like once I'm ready to take it out. It shouldn't take too long, maybe about 2 minutes. Okay, so once it kind of looks like this, still a little bit pink, I'm gonna transfer it back out onto a dish, and then I'm gonna put in the onions. Okay, so I transferred out the stew meat. And I've got the onions in here. I'm gonna stir this around in the butter and the oil for a couple minutes. Okay, so the onions have been going for a couple minutes. I'm gonna add my 16 ounces of mushrooms and stir those all together for a couple minutes. So here we go. Okay, been going about a minute now. Add some garlic to taste. I like garlic, so I'm gonna add a little bit more, I think. Kind of hard to get out. And that's plenty for me. And stir it around again for a couple more minutes. Okay, so we've been going probably about 2 minutes. I'm gonna add 1/4 cup of our cooking wine that we had. Then gonna give that a really good stir and kind of clean up the bottom. So if you don't want to add any cooking wine, you don't have to. You can skip that step. But I've always used it and it's turned out great. So we're looking pretty good here. So now I'm going to add, again, I don't really measure this stuff too much. So I'm just going to add a good spoonful of Dijon mustard. I'm probably going to add a little bit more than this. And it won't taste like mustard. Don't worry, it burns off. So I'm going to add about 2 or so spoons of it. Maybe 1 more. And I promise it's not going to be overpowering. It just adds more flavor and makes it kind of saucier. So just come in and stir it up, and we're gonna let it keep going a little bit longer to get the mushrooms cooked through a little bit more. So now I'm gonna add a teaspoon of thyme and a teaspoon of seasoned salt. And then I'm gonna add in 1.5 cups of my beef broth. I use the Better Than bouillon, but you can just easily buy the stock or the beef broth that's in the containers. Then we're gonna give that a good stir. So I gave everything a really good stir. Now I'm gonna come and add my meat back in with all its juices. Give it one last final good stir. It's already starting to look amazing. Then I'm gonna add my lid back on. We're gonna come down and we're gonna hit cancel from the saute. Gonna go manual for 7 minutes. Then we'll do an instant release once it's finished. So we'll come back once that's done. So this is a great time for me to kind of get everything ready. So I usually just get my sour cream and my cream cheese ready. And then what I do for this is I mix a tablespoon of cornstarch. I'm sorry, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch with 2 tablespoons of water. Equal parts water to cornstarch. It's just gonna help it thicken it up. And I get that ready now. So when we finish pressure cooking, we can add this up. Okay, so we've hit 0 minutes now. Now we're just gonna do an instant release and wait for that to finish. Okay, so we just finished. It's on the keep warm, which is what we're gonna keep on for the majority of this. Gonna give it a quick stir. And then we're gonna add our cornstarch that we made earlier to kind of thicken this up. Let it all drizzle in there, and then give it a quick stir. And I don't know how much the camera picks this up, but I can see that it's starting to thicken up just from that. And I also forgot to add earlier in the description, please look at the down below to see everything that I added. But this is one of those Lipton onion mixes. You can use the beef one, anything. Just I use the onion one though. So I'm gonna add this in there. I only got one hand, so I'm gonna add it in here, stir it up. I'm gonna let it cool down a little bit more before I add both my sour cream and my cream cheese. Okay, so just added our onion mix. Gonna stir that up really good, just for a little bit longer while it's still hot, so it kind of cooks it out a little bit. Okay, so I got all our dairy going on in here. Then we're just gonna give this a good stir, and this is where everything finally comes together, and you're gonna have a really good beef stroganoff. Guys, this is so good. I haven't had a better beef stroganoff since I've made it like this, and I'll probably make it like this forever. So I'm just gonna give it a good mix, and I'll show you what it looks like once it gets all melted in. Oh man, guys, this is the final product. So don't forget to turn your instapot off, because once you turn it off, it'll thicken up a little bit more. So I'm gonna let this cool down just a little bit to where it kind of thickens up a little bit more, and then we'll be ready to serve this up. All right, so last thing to do is dish it up. I got my noodles here. I got a little platform because I've only got one hand. And then just come over and get it however much you want on there. And guys, this is it. It's really easy. This is how me and my family make it every time we eat it. So the last thing to do is just try it. Turns out really good. It's really easy to do, and you don't have to measure everything exactly. Yeah, I have no complaints at all. It turned out really good. Hope you guys give this a shot. Let me know how it turns out. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.